So, today's going to be a little different. Obviously, we're going to rant today, if you haven't already noticed by the title for some strange reason. Now, I haven't done a rant in quite a while, and I could have made a rant on, let's say, some recent events within the gaming world, but those would be more opinion pieces and not, unfiltered, just fucking ranting. Now, obviously, I don't have a script in front of me. I have no reason to put a script in front of me. I have notes on my, my little sticky note app on my, my PC, but that's about it. So, I'm just going right down through the bullet points, and that's what we're doing. So, for those who don't know, and I don't really know why you wouldn't know, but Valve decided, hey, you know what we should do? We should go update the Steam library tab, because it had been the same for, I think, the better part of 16 years. And you know what? It looks old, and we need to update it. Give it a fresh coat of paint, a fresh face. And I'm going to say this right now. The new library tab, the new UI for the library, fucking horrendous. Like, it's actually fucking bad. I do not like it. Right away, when I saw it, I was disgusted with how just it feels so cluttered. And it feels more like a mobile UI, if anything. Because, with the old Steam layout, you had all your games on the side, and then you had just everything that pertained to that game within, if you clicked on the game, you'd get all that. And if you were clicked on another game, you wouldn't get the stuff from the previous game. But with this, they just threw it all out the window and said, fuck you, it needs to be right there. So, yeah, when you load in, it's not a welcome surprise. I didn't like it. I actually just fucking hate it. And it literally caused such a negative reaction that I had to change what I want the initial screen to be. When you log into Steam, you go straight to the community tab or the store page or the library tab. I had it for the library probably since I got Steam way back in 2011. And now it's on the store page because I don't want to look at this UI. It's fucking terrible. So, right away, you have all your games are on the sidebar. All your games are there. And this is the home tab, mind you. The home tab. If you click on a game, it'll, bring up that game. But when you click on home, you don't have any games selected, which is kind of fucking stupid. But anyways, so you have all your games there, whether they're installed or they're not. It'll tell you how many games you have and how many are installed. For me, it says I have 205 games, that have been installed or can be installed for whatever reason, and I have 100 of them, installed on my PC. So that right away doesn't look good, because for me at least, I like to know what games I have installed, because if I don't have a game installed or I uninstalled the game, there's probably a very good reason as to why. Maybe it just was a boring game, I got tired of playing it, I didn't want to see it anymore. So I would have had my games on just installed, because that's all I cared about. But now we get to move over to the meat of this window, and I'm going to be showing little clips here and there of what I'm talking about, so that way you can get a little visual idea. But basically, right at the top, you have the What's New tab, which is literally just the News tab. And it gives you, little news updates and shit from games you either play or have played. Right now, for mine, what I'm looking at, obviously my footage is from a few days ago. I have a Rocket League news update for the roadmap for winter. And then I have a PUBG one. I don't play PUBG anymore. And then I have another Rocket League. And then I have a Warface news update. I don't play Warface anymore. SCP Secret Laboratory. I don't know if I have that installed. I think I do. Yes, I do. And then a Steam blog, which is telling you the Steam library is now released. And I can tell you for a fact that the comment section there is, if it were on the store page, user ratings would be 95% negative. I guarantee you. There's a few people who are wow, Steam, this is really cool. And everyone else is are you fucking retarded? And everyone's yeah, he is. Beat him up. Good reason. And then I have another Warface news update I don't care about. And then I have a Gmod update. I still play Gmod. I have a Trailmakers update. I haven't played that game in a fucking while. And then I have an Unturned one, another Warface one, another, and then 3 more. Then there's more Warface. Jesus fucking Christ. There's like 8 goddamn. There's so many fucking Warface news, like right at the very end on the last page. Jesus Christ. Okay. So yeah. I don't like the news tab thing. I really don't. I liked with the old UI, you could just, all the news was within whatever game you were playing or whatever game you had selected. And I liked that because it felt more organized. This is all just, hey, how much shit can we put on the screen before you hurl? Now, below that, you have the recent games tab, which for some people might be fine. But the thing is that it becomes irrelevant because you can sort your game sidebar by recent activity, which just so happens to line up with your recent games tab. And then below that, in the all games tab, or I guess the shelf, if you will, because we're calling it, you can sort by, get this, last played, which just so happens to coincide with not only the sidebar, but also the recent games shelf. What's the fucking point, Valve? I don't get it. It's entirely irrelevant. Because I could just be a dumbass and be like, oh, I'm going to set everything to recent played because I'm dumb as shit and not alphabetical or just installed. I really don't like this if you can't tell already. So, yeah, being able to set 3 separate areas to recently played, I don't get that. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of fucking stupid. Now, moving on from that, with the all game shelf, the one that's below your recent games, you can sort it in many different ways. Alphabetically, that's, usually how your library is organized. I like that. You can sort it by what your friends are playing. I guess that's okay. I don't really know. You could just open your friends window and look there. You can sort by your hours played, which I guess is okay. I don't really know. I don't ever look at how. The only one I know that I keep track of is Rocket League because I broke 1,000 hours, so that was lit. There's that, and it's like, okay. And then you can sort by release date, and I can't tell if. Oh no, it's by most recent. Okay, yeah, I didn't know before, but now I do know. Yeah, except there are some games on here that I have installed that don't have release dates. Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't give me a release date. Portal 2 doesn't give me a release date. Borderlands 2 doesn't give me a release date. Counter-Strike Condition Zero Deleted Scenes doesn't give me a release date. And then from there on, I have Doom, Quake, Half-Life, TFC, the original CS, and those all have dates. But some games, it's surprising though, because I have the first Portal game installed. That has a release date. So why doesn't Portal 2 have a release date? I don't get that. And again, this is all sorted whether or not you have it installed. I'm trying to look. Okay, like Warface, July 1st, 2014. Don't play the fucking game, but it's still there, which makes no sense. Then you can also sort by the size on disk. I think that's kind of neat. I will be honest. It's nice to look and be like, oh shit, this has a lot. Like, I didn't know that TF2 took up 21.5 gigs. I didn't know that, but now I do. And then you can sort by the Metacritic score. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to look at the Steam Store reviews rather than the Metacritic reviews. So why the fuck would you incorporate Metacritic? And the funny thing is, it doesn't take up every game. The last game, so it's set up in rows of 6. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 full rows that have ratings. And then I have 2 in the following row that are rated. Everything else isn't. And the funniest thing is there's some pretty notable games that aren't rated on Metacritic, like Astroneer, or Gary's Mod, or what else? Half-Life Deathmatch Source, which I guess can be, kind of fair. What else? I'm kind of doing this on the fly here. I didn't really, fucking put this together. Unturned, Universe Sandbox 2, Trackmania Turbo, TFC, for some fucking reason, doesn't have a Metacritic score. So, here's my thing. Why the fuck would I need Metacritic scores when I can go to the Steam store, go to a game, and see, like, okay, so these rating outlets, you know, they say, oh, well, you have recent user scores, and then you have, like, overall, which incorporates everybody's user scores. What's the fucking point of having user scores if you're going to put the Metacritic scores? I guarantee nobody fucking cares about Metacritic. I don't. I stopped giving a shit a long time ago. I don't like Metacritic. I like the Steam store where it's like, oh, you played a game. Okay, well, give us your input. And then it calculates, you know, oh, well, this percentage of people say it's good. But recently, this percentage of people say it's good. I like that system because that can show me, you know, many things. It can say, okay, overall, the people like this game, but recently they haven't. Maybe there's an update or maybe there's new players who just don't get it. So, you know, that can influence your decision making. But here's the thing. With the Metacritic scores, it doesn't tell you any other game besides those that are either installed or have been installed. So, again, what's the fucking point when I can, if I want to buy a game and I don't know about it, if I don't know if I want to buy it, I can just go to the fucking store page and look. Like, I don't know what the hell they're thinking with this. Like, holy fuck. Now, on top of that, as you guys probably know, with the library tab, you could sort by games, your software, and your tools. Well, guess the fuck what? Those are all put together. And there's a little games menu. It's a drop-down that you can sort your library by. You can have everything sorted. Okay, so apparently I don't have 205 games. It's 205 just to everything, tools and software included. Now, you can, if you want to get to just your software, you have to uncheck your games and then check software. Same thing with tools, but if you're like me and you have games installed and you check software, well, they kind of just merge into everything else. The only two software bits I have installed is, Source Filmmaker and Wallpaper Engine. That's it. That's all I have. I don't like the fact that it's all mixed in. I liked that you could, you know, have them separated, because in my book, that's what you should do. Because, you know, if you mix things together, it might get confusing. And I honestly, it just looks ridiculous. Now, again, this whole mixing in with the games obviously would make software and tools tab irrelevant, which is why they got rid of it. Because actually, when you go to library, you have homes. And moving into that, we go to collections. Now, collections to me has two meanings. One, collections of games that you yourself put together, and two, collections of games that Valve puts together, or I guess Steam puts together for you. Now, here's the thing. With the old system, when I had it on installed in my library, just the install tab, it would tell me which games I could launch in VR, which was cool. I don't have VR, but if I needed to, if I wanted to know which games I could launch in VR, then I would know. Now, that becomes a problem with this new UI, because let's say there's a game like Subnautica. You can play that in VR. Let's say you forgot. And then you're like, oh man, I don't remember what game I can play in, VR. And then you check and you're like, oh, that's right, I can play Subnautica. With the old system, VR games or games that could be launched in VR were in their own little separate category, which was awesome. Now, obviously, yeah, you'd have some overlap between installed games and VR games, but that's fine. I mean, unless it's like an obvious example like Beat Saber or VR Chat, like you might get a little lost. Now, with the whole category and collection thing, on the home button that you see at the top of the library, there's a little button on the side with 4 squares that says Your Collections. When I click on this, I'm presented with 3 options. Create a new collection, my favorites collection, which is empty at the moment, and probably will be, and then my Trackmania collection. Now, obviously, it's going to sort games by their series or their franchise. So, here's my question. If Trackmania is getting, if all 4 games that I have installed, which is Valley, Canyon, Stadium, and Turbo, I need to get Lagoon still. If those games are all put in the same collection, why the fuck isn't Half-Life in there? Or why isn't Half-Life in its own collection? Automatically. What about Counter-Strike? What about Portal? What about, I don't have Call of Duty, but I would hope that those would all be put together in the same collection. What about all the Half-Life 2 stuff? You know, Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, Lost Coast, Deathmatch. You know, why aren't those in there? What about Just Cause? What about, I'm just trying to look at all the games I have here. You know, what about things like, what about like TF2? Like, obviously it's only TF2 and TFC, but you could put those together. So why is it that it's just Trackmania? Especially seeing as Steam is Valve's platform and they have their games of, you know, Half-Life and Counter-Strike, you would expect those to be together. Unless I'm wrong, those should be together in the collection, but whatever. Basically, this does away with categories, because what I did was I just had all of my Trackmania games in their own category, and then everything else is where it was. And I like that. Now, obviously, I can't do that because the UI's fucked. Moving on from that, you have the option, just below the collections button, you can filter, which sounds very cool. Now, obviously, you can search by the name of your game, which doesn't make sense if it's already alphabetical, unless you don't know what the fucking alphabet is, but we're not going to get into that. But with this filters tab, you can filter it by single player or multiplayer, hardware support, so things like control and VR, features, you know, trading cards and workshop items and achievements. You can sort by what's ready to play. You can sort by what's unplayed. I don't really know anybody who would use that. And then you can sort by genre. I really don't. This is literally just the fucking store filtration system that they have in place, but for your library, which is, I don't get it. I know there are some people who like to sort by the genre, but again, you could just do that automatically. And the thing is that if you click on whatever genre you want, it will only tell you, it will only show you what games come up in that genre, unless you, no, not even unless you start clicking other ones. Like, if I go from, so for my, you know, my games I have on here is 100. If I click on sports, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get Rocket League, which makes sense. I get Superflight, which I don't really know. And then I get Trackmania Canyon, Stadium, and Valley, but not Turbo. That's a big thonking right there. And then I get VR Chat, which I don't fucking get. Is VR Chat, like, sports related? I don't know. I don't play it. But it's not like you click, oh, I want to sort the action games. It's like, okay, here are all the action games, and then here's every other game. It doesn't do that. So if you wanted to sort by genre, you would do it yourself. But now you're basically just doing the Steam store equivalent of filtering games until you find what you want. I literally don't know who the fuck asks for this. I don't know who asked for this entire UI change. And I'm calling it a change and not an update, because it's not an update. It's a straight downgrade. Now, you can show games that are straight up ready to play. If on the tab for where it says games, the little drop down menu, you get software and tools. On the right side, there's a little play button. You can actually sort by what's installed and ready to play, which you could have done if you hovered the library option at the top of the Steam menu and chosen installed. And then also when you do that, your all games tab, it tells you how many games are installed versus how many aren't. So for me, out of the 100, I have 53 games installed. Okay. And then I have 47 who aren't. And it'll automatically change when you select that. Now, I disliked this UI so much, and that's rare, because most times when there's a UI change, it's either something I'm doing, like with TF2 when I changed the UI, or I already like it. Or it's actually a UI update that fixes things. This fixes nothing. This does nothing. This just looks like shit. So, I sent Valve a support ticket. And I wasn't rude. I said, hey, listen, I see what you're doing. I don't like this. I don't know who asked for this. I don't know if anybody asked for this. This is really, really bad. And, you know, they got back to me, and I don't have the screenshots pulled up, but I'll put them in the video. But basically, they had told me, oh, thanks for reaching out to us. We're sorry you don't like this with this new UI. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about it right now, but we'll let our team know. And I asked them if there was, going to ever be an option to, switch back to the old UI. They said, oh, we don't know. We'll have to, see. So that either means they're actually going to look into it, or they're just going to fuck off with it. And I'm really hoping it's the former, because I really like the old UI. So, here's the thing. I dislike this so much, and I've given you my reasons as to why I don't like this. And to just summarize it, it's cluttered, it's messy, it's counterintuitive. So many things can be made the same, like the recent games and the all games and the game's sidebar to be the same. So it just completely wipes out the need for those options. The scoring, why aren't we using the Steam store? It's literally right fucking there. Use that. Holy fucking shit, Valve. Sometimes, man, you guys, oh my god. Dumb shit. Oh, and then you can see what your friends are playing, which, if you open the friends window, you would be able to see. All of the news that's relevant, all of the Steam Workshop, achievements, screenshots, all that shit, before was within your game. And it still is, and I will say that, but the news obviously does spill out. If I click on a game like CSGO, for example, I get essentially all the options that were on the side, going to the store, the community hub, workshop. Your playtime has been moved up near the play button with the number of achievements you have. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is the activity tab for each game. Now, obviously, you can go to your profile and right below it, you can click activity, but you can look at the activity of all your friends on whatever game it might be. It doesn't matter if it's like CSGO or, it's the even the originals, even 1.6. And if there's nothing in the activities tab from your friends, you immediately go to community content. No, you go to community content anyways, but I don't know why. I'm gonna be real, I genuinely don't fucking care about what the community is doing, because for the most part, it's people just fucking whining about some stupid game mechanic that they don't like, or it's some low quality meme that isn't not just low quality it's lazy, but also low quality as in it's like a 25 by 25 GIF that's been stretched to 360p and it looks like shit. And then you get, I don't know, just people begging for items and shit. So yeah, I don't know. This whole update is ridiculous. So, what I did, I'm so disgusted. I actually don't want to look at this UI. I'm looking at it right now, and it actually hurts. I looked online to see if I could find a way to get the old UI back. And as it turns out, there is somebody by the name of Leeson, who I will link in the top of the description, who actually shows you how to get the old UI back. I'm recording this on November 6th of 2019. His video went up on October 31st, 2019. So this is a very spooky and relevant thing. So he does tell you where to go. It's in the description. He gives you both a video tutorial and also puts a text tutorial if you don't want to watch the video in the description. And it gives you whatever operating system you're on. If you're on, Mac, or you're on Linux, or you're on Windows, it'll tell you. And then it'll, below whatever system you're using, it'll also give you the old client versions, which is, great. So, yeah. If you guys want that, it'll be top of the description. Alright, I liked the old UI. I liked the way it was. I get it. It was the same thing for 16 fucking years. But you know how the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Valve, that old UI was not broke. And you fixed it, quote unquote, but you didn't. You broke it. You took the UI and just fucked it. I don't like this. I haven't met anybody who does like it at all. It looks like shit. it looks like it's a mobile game, like a mobile game UI. And I don't like that. I am actually, once I'm done recording this, I have the client, the old client already downloaded, so I'm going to install that. So, yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed your stay at this rant. It has been a while. If you made it this far, congratulations. You're a goddamn trooper, because it's been, over 25 minutes, so I applaud you. Let me know what you guys think. Like, what do you, how do you feel about the new library tab? And it's just the library tab, mind you. It's not the community tab. It's not your profile tab. It's not the store tab. It's just the library. So, I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's going to do it for me today. My name is Legion2K. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by, and I'm signing off.